I recently published a first look video about this keyboard here, the NuPhy Kick75. At that time, there was a lot of information I didn't have, and I also had not tested the high profile version yet. Well, now I have more information, and I also had a chance to convert the Kick75 from low profile to high profile. However, I don't have all the answers yet, so this is going to be a review with a few caveats. I'll explain more in a minute. Before we dive in, I want to mention that NuPhy sent me the Kick75 for the purpose of reviewing it. I was not paid to make this video, and NuPhy has no input on my review. I will include an affiliate link to the Kick75 order page in the description for you if you're interested in picking it up and you'd like to support this channel. Alright, now like I did in my first look video, let's start by outlining the things I don't know yet, and then we can proceed with the review as usual based on my experience with the low and high profile setup here. As soon as the full details of the Kick75 were published, I immediately realized there's a lot more to this story than I first understood. Not only are there low and high profile pre-built options that you can order, but there's also different firmware versions available in either profile. What I have here is the QMK version, which uses VIA for customization, and it has a 4000 milliamp hour battery in it. Then there's the NuPhy IO firmware version, which is not QMK firmware, and it uses NuPhy IO for customization instead of VIA, and it has a 2500 milliamp hour battery. I have not used the NuPhy IO version yet. I did place my own personal pre-order for a high-profile NuPhy IO version, but that's not going to be shipping until after March 20th when the pre-order is over, and that's a few weeks away as of the time I'm recording this. NuPhy sent me the conversion kit so I could convert the Kick75 from the pre-built low-profile version to what you see here, the high-profile version. However, they did not send me any of the new high-profile switches or the high-profile keycaps. These keycaps are borrowed from my Halo 75 V2, and they're the same material and same profile, so they're almost identical except for the color of the accent keys. But as for the switches, I had to find something in my personal library of switches that would come somewhat close to one of the new NuPhy switches. Where I landed was on a set of Gateron Longjin T tactile switches because they produce a thocky sound and they have a soft tactile bump. I believe they're in the ballpark of the new sound profile of the Brown Max switches. So to recap, in this review, I cannot comment on the new high-profile switches or the NuPhy IO version of the firmware, but I still thought it was worth giving more of my standard review since I have now tested the Kick75 in both low and high profile, and we now have all the pricing and accessory details to talk about. All right, so now let's dive into the features and specs, and then we'll talk about pros and cons. Keep in mind, the high-profile sound test in this video is with my switches, not the stock high-profile switches from NuPhy. The NuPhy Kick75 is a 75% keyboard with 80 keys, an encoder knob, and an ANSI layout. It is not currently available in an ISO layout. The construction includes a translucent plastic top and a plastic case bottom. The sizing of the top is different for the high and low profile versions, but the design and colors are the same for both options, and there is currently only one color theme. NuPhy will also be making some design files available after March 20th, 2025, so you can 3D print the accent pieces on the Kick75 to further customize it. The dimensions are 333 by 143.3 millimeters, and the low-profile version has a front height of 16.4 millimeters and a back height of 28.9 millimeters without the keycaps. The high-profile version has a front height of 19.4 millimeters, and the rear height is 33.6 millimeters. The total weight of the low-profile version is 877 grams, while the high-profile version is 1,009 grams. The typing angle of both configurations is 6 degrees, and there are fold-out feet for one additional typing angle. Connectivity includes Bluetooth for 3 devices with 125 Hz polling, 2.4 GHz with 1000 Hz polling, and USB-C wired also with 1000 Hz polling. In the top right corner, there is a connection switch to change between wired, Bluetooth, and 2.4 GHz modes, along with a switch for changing between Windows and Mac layouts. The internals include a unique dual-height PCB assembly, which has a silicone gasket mount, a polycarbonate plate, and multiple layers of foam. In the low-profile configuration, the clip-in stabilizers are mounted to the PCB. In the high-profile configuration, they are mounted to the plate. A conversion kit can be purchased, which includes the case top and foams needed to swap between high and low profile, as well as a screwdriver and an encoder knob cover. Just make sure you get the appropriate kit depending on which pre-built version you buy. The low-profile switches for the Kick75 are the latest generation of Gatoron Nano low-profile switches, which use the same pin positions as high-profile switches, and that is why the Kick75 can be converted between high and low profile using the same PCB. The battery size depends on which firmware version you purchase. The NuPhy IO version has a 2500 mAh battery, which has an estimated 294 hours of use time with all the lighting turned off. The QMK version has a 4000 mAh battery, and NuPhy does not provide a different estimated use time on their site at the moment. Low-profile keycaps are NSA die-sub PBT, and on the high-profile they are MSA profile double-shot PBT. The high-profile keycaps are the same ones found on the Halo V2 series with different accent key colors. Backlighting is south-facing RGB with multiple modes that can be controlled with key commands or in the NuPhy IO software for the NuPhy IO version. There are also separate controls for the side light. Customization depends on which firmware version you purchase. The NuPhy IO version uses the web-based app NuPhy IO, which allows for remapping, creating macros, customizing the lighting, and firmware updates. The QMK version uses VIA for customization. The pricing also depends on the firmware version. The NuPhy IO version has a price of $89 for low profile and $99 for high profile, and the QMK version is $109 for low profile and $119 for high profile. All of those are US prices. All right, now let's get into some pros and cons for the Kick75. Starting off with pros, we have good connectivity options and OS compatibility here. I used both the Bluetooth and the 2.4 gigahertz connections over the last few weeks that I've been testing this out, and both were stable for me. I did have to repair the 2.4 gigahertz receiver the first time I used it, but after that, it has been stable for me, and I had it placed about 3 feet away from the keyboard with no obstructions. The 2.4 gigahertz and wired connections have 1000 hertz polling, making the Kick75 an option for gaming, although I don't know the exact latency performance, so I can't promise it's super high performance for gaming, but it should be plenty for casual gaming. The next pro is the customization options that you have with the Kick75, both physical and from a programming standpoint. On the physical front, of course, you have the low and high profile pre-built options, but you can also get 2 additional plates, POM or aluminum. So if you prefer either of those materials over the polycarbonate plate that it comes with, you can add those on when you order it and swap them out. Now, changing the plate might seem like an inconvenience, but it's also part of the process of disassembly when you convert between high and low profile. We're going to talk about that conversion process in the neutral category though. Now when it comes to the programming, you have QMK and NuPhy IO firmware options as we talked about earlier. Both allow you to customize your key mapping on the Kick75. I have only tested the QMK version with VIA, and there are 3 totally blank layers for you to customize, as well as pre-programmed Windows and Mac layers that each have their own function layer, plus 1 extra function layer, which is layer 4, and that controls the side light. So layers 5, 6, and 7 are the empty ones, and you can set them up any way you like. Of course, you can create macros and bind them to any key in any layer, which I did on the Windows layer, and my macros worked as expected. There's just one downside with the QMK version that I will address in the cons. Now, one thing I want to point out as a separate pro is just the fact that you can get the same design and layout here in both high and low profile. There have actually been several times in the past that I've seen a keyboard and thought to myself, I wish they just offered that exact same keyboard in the other profile, high or low. Next up, we have the sound profile. Now, we're also going to talk about the sound and feel in the neutral section since they're so subjective, but I want to mention a couple of things in the pros here about the sound. In the low profile configuration with the nano brown switches, it's got a sound that's deep and quite different than the Air series keyboards, which are much thinner. What's good here is that there are no negative sounds in the low or high profile configuration. The spacebar sound may not be perfect, but it's really, there's no stabilizer rattle, there's no bad resonance here. I wouldn't expect that from a plastic keyboard, but it also doesn't sound hollow. You have a little bit more of a refined sound as well. Now let's talk about the battery life for a second here. The NuPhy IO version is estimated to last close to 300 hours with the backlighting off. Now I haven't been able to find an estimated battery life for the QMK version, which does have a larger battery because QMK firmware is not the most power efficient, but I've been using the wireless connections for a few weeks on and off. I've had no complaints about the battery life. So ultimately, I have no reason to think that the estimated battery life of the QMK version is any significantly different than the NuPhy IO version. I want to briefly mention the nano brown switches here. As I said earlier, I have not had a chance to test any of the other new switches yet, including any of the high profile ones. So that's coming in a video after I receive my pre-order. But for now, I can say that I personally really like the nano brown switches, the low profile ones. The tactile bump on them is very mild, to the point where I honestly didn't realize they were tactile at first, but the feel and sound of them I just really enjoyed. They're not too wobbly, the factory lube is pretty consistent on them. If the other switch options are as good as the nano browns, then they would just be an overall pro. One point of clarity about the low profile switches though, they have the same pin positions as the high profile switches. That of course is why the PCB can be used with either one and you can convert them. But that means that past low profile switches made by Gateron will not work. So none of the low profile switches for the Air series are going to be compatible, and that's important to point out. And lastly, we have value for the price in the Pro section here. The NuPhy IO version is $89 for the low profile option or $99 for the high profile option. The QMK version adds a little bit to that respectively at $109 and $119. Now this is not marketed as a premium or high-end keyboard, and the construction is all plastic here, so it shouldn't be priced much higher than it is. But for the combination of connectivity, typing feel and sound, and customization, it is a pretty good value as long as the first thing in the neutral category doesn't rule it out for you. So let's get into the neutral category where we talk about things that are very subjective and might be a pro or a con, depending on your point of view. We do have quite a few things to talk about in the neutral category for the Kick75, but let's start with the design. First of all, the general design aesthetics here are a little more niche than some of NuPhy's other keyboards. We have a plastic case with a translucent top and an 8-bit gaming themed design here. If you don't like it, you might say it looks like a toy. But if you do like it, well, then you like it. There's nothing wrong with liking it or not liking it, but being this unique compared to a traditional keyboard design means it might appeal to a smaller group of people overall. The other design element here I want to point out is that the low profile version is not as low profile as many others on the market, like NuPhy's own Air series. The switches and keycaps are low profile and the typing feel is like a low profile mechanical keyboard, but the case has a height and an incline that's similar to a high-profile keyboard. Of course, the reason for that is that the Kick75 can be converted between high and low profile just by switching out the case top, and the bottom of the case stays the same, so it needs to be usable without changing the height or typing angle. While we're here, I'm also going to comment on the wrist rest because NuPhy sent me one of those as well. It's an interesting design with a plastic tray bottom and a soft top that detaches. I believe there's magnets in here because it feels like it attaches with magnets. When you remove this bottom part, it's a good height for the low profile configuration. When you put it back in the tray, it's a good height for the high profile configuration. The feeling of this, as I mentioned, it is soft. It's a cushioned pad here on top. It's not a hard wrist rest. I don't know if this soft material is gonna sag over time at all. I've been using it for a few weeks now and I've not seen any sign of it getting permanent indentations yet, but it is pretty soft, so it's possible over a longer period of time. All right, next up we have the sound and feel. We talked about the sound a little bit in the pros, but the neutral part here is just whether you like the sound and the feel. Now, as I've said, I've only tested the low profile brown switches, but just from the short audio samples they have on the website, it seems that they went for a deeper, thockier sound profile overall with all of the switch choices here. In general, the feel is cushioned but not bouncy. We have a gasket mount in here, however, there's not tons of room for movement. It's not like a, ton of up and down down movement when you type. In general, I would just call it cushioned, but not bouncy. Next in the neutral category, I want to comment on the existence of two firmware versions here. I'm not sure why NuPhy decided to sell two different firmware versions rather than just make the Kick75 compatible with both VIA and NuPhy IO, but this isn't inherently a con either, so I'm keeping it here in the neutral category. If you don't have a need for QMK firmware that can be manually programmed or customized with VIA, then the NuPhy IO version keeps things simple and offers a lower price, and you can still customize it using the web app on Windows, Mac, and Linux, so that's probably the best version for a lot of people who don't know if they need QMK. Now, the convertible nature of the Kick75 is also something I'm putting here in the neutral category. This is a feature that not everybody's gonna be interested in, and because both the low profile and high profile versions come fully assembled, you never need to do it unless you want to. Now, I could say the same thing about the conversion process itself. If you're not into mechanical keyboards and not really interested in a lot of disassembly and tinkering with parts, the conversion process probably won't appeal to you. To convert from high profile to low profile and vice versa, you have to not only change out the top of the case, the switches, and the keycaps, you also need to move the stabilizers and change out the foam between the PCB and the plate. Now, if you're into this kind of thing like me, then it's not a con at all because it's enjoyable, but it also doesn't mean you're going to want to do it multiple times either. But again, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. By the way, if you're interested in all the details of the internals of the Kick75, I would recommend checking out that earlier video, the first look video I did. I did a complete walkthrough of all the internals in that video. I'll link to that in the corner right now and in the description. Now, similar to the conversion ability, there's also the open source STP files for the 3D printing of parts for the Kick75. Their site states that they're going to be available on March 20th when the pre-order is over. If you're into that, that's pretty cool. If you're not, doesn't change anything. Okay, now let's move into a couple of cons for the Kick75. First, let's get back to the one con I mentioned about customizing using the QMK version, and it has to do with the knob. This is something that maybe could change with a firmware update for this version of the keyboard, but currently you cannot customize the knob in VIA. It actually appears in VIA as a key rather than a knob, and anything that I mapped to that key did not affect the function of the knob at all. So it does work for volume up and down and mute. That's how it's programmed by default, but I couldn't change it to anything else using VIA. So we'll see if that changes. Now, the only other thing that I can really say is a con for everybody is the ordering process. And it's overall, the choices here are a bit confusing, especially to somebody that's not coming into this as a keyboard enthusiast. Even if you know that you just want the low profile NuPhy IO version, for example, you might be confused by all of the choices available before ordering, and if you need to buy any extra parts or things like that. I can't help but think we're close to the line of having too many options, and it could have been a little bit simpler. But of course, this con has nothing to do with the actual performance of the keyboard itself. It's more of the decisions around how it's being released. So ultimately, given the caveats that I haven't tested the NuPhy IO version or the high profile switches, I don't really see any major deal breakers for the Kick75 as long as you like the design. That's going to be the primary thing here. Now, some of the things we talked about could rule it out for you, and that's perfectly fair, but I do think it was smart to sell the low profile and high profile versions fully assembled, because if you're not interested in all of that physical customization or converting it, you can just get the one you want, keep it simple. You get a pretty nice keyboard here for right around $100. Now again, I will be doing at least one more Kick75 video once I get my NuPhy IO version and some of the high profile switches to test out. So be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see that. In fact, I'll put a link to it right up here once it's published. Thanks everybody. See you next time.